Most of you already know, the Cup Car 2.0 build isn't my first attempt at building an insanely immersive sim racing cockpit, and it won't be my last. But despite having a long ways to go, I can honestly say this one finally feels right. But as I start to think about what comes next after Cup Car 2.0, there's a small and simple curiosity that nags me. In all the rigs I've built, and all the things I've tried, I've yet to see how it would feel if the monitors just served as windows to the outside. How much more immersive real estate can I gain by not needing that lower 1/3 of the screen for the dash? And would it improve or diminish the overall feel of the rig? Now, all these questions aren't going to be answered by the end of this video, but I am ready to take the first step. You know, the crazy thing is, I've been building sim rigs for almost 10 years, and I've never once felt the need to mount a DDU to any of them, but Apex Sim Racing sent me a little gift, and I think it's finally time to see what I've been missing. Inside of the box is Apex Sim Racing's GT3 R V2 display. And while it may not be a perfect fit for the Huracan GT3 build that I have planned when Cup Car 2.0 is finished, I think it'll be a lot of fun to implement it into Cup Car 2.0 in the meantime, and use it when I want to race the GT3R instead of the Cup Car. This DDU houses a 5-inch display behind scratch-resistant glass in an anodized aluminum housing. They use a vibrant 480 by 800 display with 34 programmable RGB LEDs encased around it. The screen and LEDs are wired to a single PCB board, allowing for a single USB connection which provides full control through SimHub. No doubt you can feel the craftsmanship and quality of this DDU, and you can see it too. But what's it actually like to race with it? But before we can find out, you guys may have noticed that I have a 3D printed dash on the rig that doesn't really offer a lot of opportunities for mounting a DDU. So I'm going to need to do a little bit of custom work, and I'm going to try to make this really quick for those of you who aren't really into 3D printing. But at the same time, for those of you that are, I want you guys to see the solution to this. Since I design everything using Blender, I was able to come in here and just open my dash, or the middle part of my dash up, and basically start my design using that so I could help everything align. If I bring in the DDU body, you can see kind of where I thought the alignment needed to be, and then I just oversized that body a bit to give it a little bit of tolerance so that I knew it would slide in place. Once that was done, I added a little strip right back here so it would align perfectly. Basically, this is just going to be a Velcro point so that I can easily put the DDU in when I want to race the GT3R or something more fitting for a small display like this. And then of course, once all that's in place, I can start building the housing around it and basically just doing a lot of shaping to get it to look really clean. If I take out the dud, you can see exactly how I would expect everything to fit once it's printed. And then once I take out the main DDU and remove the lower part of the dash, I have my finished product that I'll use to print and basically put the display onto the rig. And after a couple hours of printing, I've got a perfectly good housing to put my DDU in. If I did my job right, it should fit snugly into that housing. That is actually in there so solid that it probably doesn't need the bolts. But I made holes for them and I'm going to use them anyways. Alright guys, so we're going to talk about SimHub setup in just a few minutes, but I thought first we would jump in and take a little POV run so you guys can see this DDU in action. And right out the gate, the difference between just using what's on the monitors and having a dedicated DDU is insanely apparent. With the LEDs pulsing to the engine RPMs and the screen feeding me every bit of detail I needed, it felt like the car was actually communicating back to me through the DDU. The display sits just far enough apart to add an extra layer of immersion that wasn't there before, while the glow of the LEDs gives the cockpit an energy that the monitors just couldn't provide. It's one of those subtle changes that you just don't realize you're missing until you feel it for yourself, and it just makes the rig feel that much more like a real race car. As for this particular unit, the screen is super sharp, vibrant, and easy to read in the heat of a session. Everything about this just tells me that I've really been missing out on an opportunity to start integrating DDUs into my setup. Now, as far as setup goes, the GT3 R V2 already has native SimHub support, but there is a few things you're going to want to do to get started if you didn't have the V1. First off, you're going to want to go to apexsimracing.com and go to the GT3 R V2 and go to Files, and then to User Manuals and Downloads. Here you'll find all the different user manuals and downloads for everything they sell. Once you get to the V2, you'll notice it basically says how to add it. But if you go here to where it shows downloads, this will actually take you into a screen where you can get the SimHub dashes, the LED profiles, everything you need to install. And just for a quick example, if I were to download the SimHub dash here, they actually make it really simple. Once the file's downloaded, if you have SimHub on your computer, which I don't on my streaming PC, you could see here though I have the file downloaded. If I double click that with SimHub, it's going to automatically import the dash into SimHub. I don't have to worry about finding the root folder and dragging and dropping and all that. It does all the work for you. Now, once you have your SimHub dashes installed and your LED profile downloaded, you can go straight to the home page. You'll see here it's showing it already for me, but you won't see that yet. You go to Devices, Add New Device, and you'll find the Apex GT3 R right here in the devices already ready to go. Add it in, and basically the setup from there is pretty much like anything else in SimHub. Choose your main dash, your idle dash, very straightforward and simple. For LED profiles, you can see here if I go into the LED profiles, I can go to Edit Profile, and for the sake of this test, I actually added not just RPMs, because that obviously you want to have your RPM gauge, but to just show the LEDs because I wasn't racing against anybody. Normally I would want to use the side LEDs as like a flag or something. In this case, I just had them increase and decrease based on speed. So you can see in the starting position up to 12 LEDs, this is the left side, is just gonna basically radiate up to a red as I go faster. And on the right side, it's gonna go from green to red. I just kind of wanted to show a whole broad spectrum. But you guys can play with these settings and basically have all of the LEDs or each individual LED serve different purposes to indicate different things to you. And it's super easy to set up as they activate. You can even see them activate up here in the LED strip, and it'll show you exactly what they're doing. I can click on the buttons and you can see how they're going to interact with different rows and columns. And even if I was staring at the DDU right now, you'd be able to see those lighting up. So overall setup, super simple. One thing I haven't mentioned is with that LED profile, you're going to want to go to Manage Profile and actually go down here to import the profile that you downloaded, so that it'll start working with it. After spending some time behind the Apex GT3 R V2, it's definitely clear to me what the appeal of having a dedicated DDU is. As with any SimHub supported gear, its versatility for adjustment and its adaptability to any car you're using makes it ideal for anyone that's looking to take immersion a step further. As you can see, it doesn't matter what dash you throw at it, it still shows a crystal clear, easy to read display. At first I was skeptical of this 5-inch display, but I was quickly convinced that the size keeps it just compact enough to be able to be used on almost any rig while delivering great dash clarity that's easy to read. I may not have another DDU to compare it to, but I'm pretty certain I'm going to enjoy finding new ways to use this little guy on my rig. Now, if you guys are in the market for a new DDU or any other sim racing hardware, make sure you check out Apex Sim Racing. I'll put an affiliate link down in the description. And for any Apex branded products specifically, you can use promo code ThirdWheel5 to get an additional 5% off. Now, for those of you that have been following the Cup Car 2.0 build, the next couple weeks is going to be all about trying to get this thing buttoned up as much as possible before I have to completely strip it down for a little bit. Third Wheel Exclusive is going to be getting a new permanent home, which means everything's got to be stripped out of this room. Some work has to be done in the new studio, and it's going to take me a little bit of time, but I'm going to try to do it as quick as I can so we can quickly get back to Cup Car 2.0 and get it buttoned up. If you guys aren't already following the Cup Car 2.0 build, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and until next time, I'll see you guys out on the track.